Have you ever felt like you're running on empty, with nothing left to give? You smile on the outside, but deep inside, there's a storm. You go through the motions, yet every step feels heavier than the last. The world keeps spinning, but you're standing still, tired, weary, and worn down by the weight of it all. If that's where you are right now, hear me clearly. God sees you. He sees behind the mask. He hears the cries that never leave your lips, and more importantly, He cares. There's a kind of exhaustion that goes beyond the physical, a soul tiredness. The kind that settles in when you've held everything together for too long. When you've prayed and waited and hoped, but things still haven't changed. When you've given your all and it still doesn't feel like enough. But I want to tell you something sacred. Your weariness is not a sign of weakness. It is a signal. A holy signal that you need rest, not the kind the world offers, but the kind only God can provide. You are not forgotten in your fatigue. Heaven has not gone silent. Every tear you've cried has been captured. Every late night whisper, "God, help me," has echoed in the throne room. The ache in your chest, the tightness in your soul, the questions you haven't dared to speak. He knows them all, and He is with you right now, not waiting for you to be stronger, not expecting you to have it all together, but meeting you in your mess. The world says grind harder, push through, hustle till you collapse, but God says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, real rest, soul deep, life-giving, burden-lifting rest." And that rest doesn't start when everything is fixed. It begins when you let go. When you stop fighting in your own strength and surrender in prayer. When you trade panic for trust. When you drop to your knees, not because you're defeated, but because you know who holds your victory. Prayer is not a backup plan. It is your lifeline. It's not begging in desperation. It's anchoring yourself to the one who never fails. When the burden is too heavy to carry, you don't need to be stronger. You need to lean harder on Him. We often want quick fixes, instant answers, miracles on demand. But God is not Amazon Prime. He is the Ancient of Days. He moves in eternal rhythm, not earthly hurry. And sometimes, the silence is not absence. It's strategy. Sometimes, the waiting is not punishment. It's preparation. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean God is motionless. Just because you don't feel progress doesn't mean there isn't purpose. He is shaping you in the shadows. He is strengthening you in the stillness. He is pruning your soul so that when the breakthrough comes, and it will, you'll be ready to carry it. So when you're tired and the answers haven't come, trust, not in outcomes, not in timelines, but in the unshakable goodness of your God. Trust means standing on promises even when your knees are trembling. It means believing that even when nothing changes around you, something is changing within you. Because it is. You're still here. You're still praying. You're still reaching for Him. And that alone is a testimony. If the only thing you can do is worship through the tears, then do it. Worship isn't about having all the answers. It's about clinging to the one who does. Worship shifts the atmosphere. It invites heaven into your weakness and fills the cracks of your soul with supernatural strength. And I know, some of you are in the fire right now, battling brokenness, facing loss, watching your world fall apart piece by piece. But God is not far. He is closer than your next breath, and even in the middle of this valley, He is preparing something beautiful. When the battle rages around you, and weariness sinks into your bones, it can feel like you've been abandoned, left alone, in the chaos with no clear way forward. But let me remind you, the enemy is a liar. That voice in your head saying, "God has forgotten you," is not the voice of truth. The very fact that you're under attack isn't proof of your weakness. It's confirmation of your worth. You are a threat to the darkness because something powerful is inside of you. Something heaven has anointed and hell wants to silence. But take heart, because what God has planted in you, no force in hell can uproot. You are surrounded by a hedge of protection, not because of your perfection, but because of His promises. He has spoken over your life, and what He declares cannot be canceled by demons, delays, or doubt. And He's not finished with you yet. When you feel tired, don't retreat. Run to His promises. Don't pick up your Bible as a routine. Open it like oxygen. Let the living Word breathe into your dry places. Let it whisper truth where lies have taken root. It will remind you of your identity, not as a failure, not as forgotten, but as a beloved child of God. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a victor through Christ. You are not forsaken. You are handpicked. And even when you walk through the fire, He walks with you. When the waters rise, they will not drown you. When the flames burn hot, they will not consume you, because the Lord, your God, is with you. And hear this clearly. Rest is not defeat. Rest is not weakness. Rest is worship. It is an act of trust. Even God, the creator of the cosmos, rested. So why do we think we must outwork him? Why do we believe we are more necessary than the one who made us? The Sabbath was not punishment. It was a gift, a holy invitation to stop striving and start receiving. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't more, it's less. It's placing your burdens at his feet and breathing deeply, knowing he can carry what you were never meant to hold. Maybe your exhaustion isn't about how much you're doing, but about who you're trying to be without God. You weren't created to be your own provider, your own defender, your own savior. That job's already taken. When you let go of the need to control everything, that's when he steps in. When you stop pretending to be strong, his strength takes over. When you finally cry out, "Lord, I can't do this without you," heaven responds not with judgment, but with joy, because his strength is made perfect in your weakness. Yes, waiting is painful. Yes, trusting when life is falling apart seems irrational. But faith isn't built on what you see, it's built on who you know. And our God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He has never failed, and he will not start now. Look back. Think about all the times he carried you through. The doors he opened when you saw no way out. The miracles that came at the last minute. The moments that looked like the end, but became new beginnings. What he starts, he finishes. What he authors, he perfects. What he speaks, he fulfills. There is power in your prayer that hell cannot silence. There is peace in your waiting that the world cannot explain. And there is strength in your surrender that only God can provide. You may be walking through a dark night of the soul right now, but hold on. Dawn is coming. The morning light will break through. Joy will rise again. Healing will return. Restoration will shine like the sun. But until then, don't stop. Keep praying. Keep hoping. Keep standing still and watching the salvation of your Lord unfold before your eyes. Trust is not passive. It is the deepest kind of warfare. When you rest in his goodness, you are declaring war against the enemy's lies. Some of you have been praying for years for a loved one to come home, for healing in your body, for a breakthrough you've only seen in dreams. Don't quit. God heard you the first time, and he is still listening. He has not changed his mind. Some of you feel like you're staring at mountains to hide a climb, but God is not asking you to climb them. He's asking you to believe that he can move them, and even when heaven seems silent, don't mistake silence for absence. God often speaks in whispers, not shouts. In the stillness, he reveals his heart, and sometimes he lets you get tired not to punish you, but to pull you close, because when you're exhausted, the masks come off, the pride fades, the striving stops, and in that raw, vulnerable space, something holy begins, intimacy with the God who loves you deeper than you can fathom. And when all you have left is him, no strength, no plan, no fall back, that's when you finally see he is more than enough. When the noise of life fades and silence settles in, that's when his voice becomes clear. In the stillness, you hear it. Be still and know that I am God, not a suggestion, not a wishful thought, a divine whisper calling you to trust. So, don't let your exhaustion pull you into despair. Let it lead you to the foot of the cross, that rugged, bloodstained place where mercy met your pain. Jesus didn't just die to secure your eternity. He died to carry your burdens today. He bore your sorrow, your shame, your fatigue, and he said with piercing clarity, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That's not a poetic sentiment. It's a promise, a holy invitation from the Savior of your soul. He didn't say, "Come when you've figured it all out." He didn't say, "Come when your faith is strong." He said, "Come now. Come when you're broken. Come when you're tired. Come when your strength is gone." This season is not your punishment. It's your purification. You're not being cast aside. You're being carved into a vessel fit for glory. What feels like the end is actually the threshold of a miracle, but you must endure. You must press in when everything in you wants to run. You must pray when your voice trembles. Wait like a soldier on the front lines, and trust like a child reaching for a father's hand, because your father has not closed your story. In fact, the most breathtaking chapters are still ahead. The enemy wants to convince you this is all there is, that fatigue is your future, and despair is your destiny, but that is a lie. This is not your final chapter. You are not defined by how tired you feel. You are defined by the faith that still breathes in you, even if it's only a whisper. You are not shaped by suffering. You are being refined through surrender. And let me tell you, your greatest breakthrough often stands on the other side of your greatest battle. Don't turn back now. Don't let go when you've come this far. Heaven is leaning in. The angels are holding their breath. The saints are cheering you on. And your God, He is moving. So rise, O weary soul, lift your eyes to the hills. Lift them not in fear, but in hope. For your help comes not from men, not from luck or circumstance. Your help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, and he who watches over you never slumbers, not even for a second. He sees your struggle, he knows your heartache, and he is coming through, not a moment too soon, not a heartbeat too late. His timing is perfect. His deliverance is sure. So yes, you may be tired, but let that weariness drive you to your knees, not away from the presence of God. Let it break pride, birth a deeper dependence, and awaken a fierce kind of faith, because the tired believer, who still prays, who still waits, who still believes, that soul carries more power than an army. You are not just surviving, you are enduring with purpose. You are not just barely holding on. You are being held by everlasting arms, and in prayer, you are not begging the air. You are touching heaven. When you wait, you are not wasting time. You are aligning with divine timing, and when you trust, even through tears, you are proclaiming that your God is greater than any storm. That, my friend, is true victory. That is how you walk through the weariness of life without being consumed. Not by pushing harder, but by resting deeper, resting in the unfailing arms of the one who has never let you go. So take a deep breath right now, exhale the lies, inhale the truth, and declare with your whole heart, God, I trust you. Say it when it hurts. Say it when you don't see the way. Say it until every fiber of your soul believes it, because he is faithful, he is with you, and he is for you. The same God who split the seas, who calmed the storms, who healed the sick, who raised the dead, that very same God is walking beside you right now. He has not failed, and he will not fail you now. Pray as one who expects heaven to answer. Wait with confidence, knowing he's never late, and trust with boldness, because the Lion of Judah fights your battles. You may be tired, but he is your strength. You may be broken, but he is your healer. You may feel stretched to your limits, but he is limitless. And when you dare to pray, to wait, and to trust, heaven moves. The earth responds, and your soul is anchored in peace no storm can take away. And by the Spirit of the Lord and the authority of his word, I say this: your exhaustion is not proof of God's absence. It is his divine invitation, his holy summons to draw near, closer than you've ever been. This weariness, this pressure, is not meant to break you, but to bring forth something sacred. Just like the olive must be pressed to release its precious oil, and the grape must be crushed to release its sweetness, so must your soul undergo pressure, so the anointing may flow freely. From your life, heaven sees what the world cannot. There is glory in your groaning. There is purpose in your pressing. Don't despise this place of fatigue. Don't curse it. This may be the exact ground upon which your greatest breakthrough is being born. Some of God's deepest revelations are hidden in the wilderness, when the crowds fade, when the applause stops, when you are left alone with only your thoughts and your God there. In that solitude, truth is revealed. Remember Elijah. That mighty prophet didn't meet God in the earthquake, the wind, or the fire. He met him in a still, small voice. And it wasn't in Elijah's strength that God showed up, it was in his surrender. When Elijah lay beneath a broom tree, wearied to the point of death, crying, Lord, it is enough, God didn't scold him. God sent an angel. He fed him. He let him rest. Why? Because God understands fatigue. He doesn't reject the weary. He restores them. He nourishes them. He whispers to them when they can no longer shout. He picks them up when they can no longer stand. That same God is attending to you now. You are not less spiritual because you are tired. Jesus, the Son of God himself, grew weary. He sat down at a well in Samaria because his body needed rest. And there, in that moment of exhaustion, a divine encounter unfolded. A weary woman met a weary Savior, and redemption was born. So bring him your weariness. Bring him your tired thoughts, your tired body, your tired prayers, your tired faith. Lay it all at his feet, because it is in your emptiness that his fullness is most beautifully revealed. God never expected you to be the strong one. His power is not reserved for the mighty, it is perfected in the weak. That's why he said to Paul, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Maybe you've been crying behind closed doors. Maybe no one around you sees the storm inside. You smile in public, but you're screaming in private. God hears that inner cry. He sees the pain you conceal behind brave words. He knows when your heart races and your mind spirals, and still, his promise stands firm. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, not might, shall. That's not a poetic phrase to comfort the weary. That is a holy guarantee. You will rise on wings like eagles. You will run again and not grow weary. You will walk again and not faint. But first you must wait. Waiting is not passive. It's not empty. It is the forge of faith, the classroom of trust. It is sacred time where endurance is built, where spiritual muscles are formed. In waiting, roots grow deeper, character is refined, trust is solidified. Don't rush what God is perfecting. Don't dig up the seed just because the sprout hasn't broken the surface. Would you pull a seed from the soil after a week and call it a failure? No, because growth happens beneath before it ever appears above. So it is with your prayers. So it is with your miracle. Trust the hands of the heavenly gardener. He waters you with grace. He nurtures you with truth. He prunes you not to harm you, but to help you bear lasting fruit. And remember the children of Israel 40 years wandering, not because God was lost, but because their hearts needed transforming. And yet, even in their complaining, God remained faithful. Manna rained down from heaven. Water flowed from rocks. Their shoes did not wear out. He sustained them even when they didn't understand the journey. So pause, look back, take inventory. You may not be where you want to be, but look at what He's preserved you through. Look at how He has carried you. You should have crumbled under the weight. You should have turned back, walked away, or given up entirely, but you didn't. Something in you held on. Something in you kept believing, kept praying, kept hoping. And that something is the Spirit of the living God within you. That presence inside of you, the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead, is still moving, still breathing, still sustaining you today. So don't misinterpret your exhaustion as the end. It's the evidence that God is preparing something deeper, something weightier, something glorious. Some of you, let me speak right to your heart, have been pouring yourselves out day after day, pouring into others while silently running on empty. You've been the intercessor, the encourager, the backbone. You've prayed fervently for everyone else's breakthrough, stood tall for their battles, held their trembling hands, and wiped their tears. You've led worship with a trembling voice, preached sermons while silently bleeding inside, and yet, few know how weary your soul has become. You're tired quietly, invisibly, painfully tired, but hear this truth: God sees you. He sees the servant in the shadows, the one who smiles and says, "I'm okay," but lies awake at night wondering how much longer they can keep going. He sees the burden you carry behind your smile and the weariness that your words never reveal. And to you, He isn't demanding performance, He's offering presence. He's not asking for another task, He's asking for your heart. Come back not as a soldier, but as a son, not as a minister, but as a daughter. Return not with your resume of good deeds, but with your open wounds. You don't have to be strong all the time. That's a lie we've believed for too long. You don't always have to have the right words or the right posture or the perfect strength. Sometimes all God asks is that you lean not on your own understanding, but on His arms that never grow weary. When you can't walk, lean. When you can't even pray, let your tears become groans. For the Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words. When you can't lift your hands in worship, just whisper His name, Jesus, the name above every name. That name still breaks chains. That name still opens prison doors. That name still raises the dead places inside you and brings resurrection to what felt lifeless. There is no exhaustion too deep for Jesus. There is no soul too dry for His living water. If He parted a sea for Moses, if He shut the mouths of lions for Daniel, if He brought fire from heaven for Elijah, if He walked in the fire with 3 Hebrew boys, if He raised Lazarus from a tomb after for days, then surely He can lift you out of this valley of fatigue. You're not asking for too much. You are not beyond reach. His arm is mighty to save. His ear is inclined toward your cry. So cry out, even if it's broken, even if it's quiet, even if it's messy. Cry out with everything you have left, because He hears. And not only does He hear, but He is preparing to answer in a way that will leave you breathless. What He's about to do in your life will bring clarity to everything you've endured. What's been confusing will make sense. The ache will be turned into an anthem. Your pain will become part of a testimony that shakes the heavens. Your tears, they haven't been wasted, they've been planted. Every tear has watered the soil of destiny, and the harvest is coming, a harvest of joy, of peace, of restoration. Doors you thought were closed forever will swing open. Dreams you thought were buried will stir again. The fire that life tried to extinguish, God is breathing on it again. The spark is coming back. The flame is coming back. But first, before the miracle, God is cultivating something deeper. He's not just teaching you to trust for an outcome. He's training you to trust His heart. This is not just about what you're waiting for. It's about who you're becoming in the waiting. And you, dear soul, are becoming resilient, rooted, refined. You are being shaped like gold, purified by fire. And when the appointed time comes, you won't just emerge, you'll rise, not bitter, but bold. Not hollow, but whole. Not defeated, but delivered. So don't buy the lie that this season is a waste. Don't listen to the enemy whispering that nothing is changing. The truth is everything is changing. You are being transformed. This very season is sacred, because it is in this crushing that the oil of your anointing is being released. It is in this valley that God is renaming you from weary to warrior, from cast aside to called out, from overlooked to overflowed. Let me speak this over you with all authority and love. You will not faint. You will not break. You will not give up in this valley. You will live and declare the mighty works of the Lord. You will rise not only restored, but reignited. That fire the enemy tried to steal from you, God is reigniting it. That passion you thought was lost, God is reviving it. That hope buried under discouragement, it's being unearthed. But it all begins when you stop trying to hold it all together in your own hands and let God hold you. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to strive. You don't even have to figure it all out. You just have to trust. Even if you're crawling, even if you're stumbling, you are still moving forward. You're not who you used to be. You're not where you once were. That alone is evidence that grace has been carrying you. So don't focus on your weakness. Focus on His strength. Don't judge your journey by your pace. Measure it by your surrender. Because in that surrender, there is power. And in your weariness, there is a holy invitation to rest, not in the absence of problems, but in the presence of the one who holds it all together. Because the greatest victories are not always granted to those who run the fastest, or shout the loudest, or fight the hardest, but to those who wait faithfully, who kneel quietly, who trust persistently when everything around them suggests they shouldn't. So today, wherever you are, however heavy your soul may feel, I invite you lift your head, wipe your tears, take a deep breath, square your shoulders, not in your own strength, but in the strength of the one who formed you. Because the King of Glory has not forgotten you. He hasn't turned His face away. He is not disappointed in your weariness. He welcomes it. He receives you, not with judgment, but with open arms. Come boldly, not as a hero, not as a conqueror, not as someone who has it all together, but as a child, a tired, hungry, weary child, fully known and still fully loved. Come as you are, no mask, no pretending, just come. The throne of grace is not a throne of performance, it's a place of mercy, of help in your time of need. And friend, this is your time of need. Don't wait to get it together. Don't delay until you're stronger. Come now. Pray not with eloquence, but with honesty. Pray like you've never prayed before. Let your prayers be raw. Let your heart be exposed. Let your desperation become worship. Wait not with fear, but with hope. Trust not in the logic of your plan, but in the faithfulness of the one who has never, ever failed you. Because yes, you may be tired now, but you will run again. You will dance again. You will smile again. You will dream with joy and courage again. And when that day comes, you will look back on this exact moment not as a season of silence or suffering, but as the very furnace where God was forging your future. You'll realize He wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you for something greater than you dared to imagine. He was building capacity, not withholding blessing. So for now, rest in Him, not as someone giving up, but as someone finally surrendering to the only arm strong enough to hold you through the storm. Hide in Him when the world feels too loud. Hope in Him when your mind is filled with doubts. Trust in Him when the road ahead is foggy, because those who trust in the Lord will never be put to shame. He is your strength when you're weak. He is your portion when you feel empty. He is your hiding place when you feel exposed. He is not only your provider, He is the provision. And if you can feel even a small flicker of hope rise up inside you, protect it, hold it close, guard it like a flame in a storm. That flicker is not your own strength, it's the Spirit of the living God breathing on your soul again. That faint warmth you feel in your chest, that is resurrection. That is heaven reminding you it's not over. God is not asking you to be fearless, He's asking you to be faithful. He's not calling you to storm every battle with ease, He's calling you to walk with Him through the fire. And here's the promise, you will not be consumed. The fire may surround you, but it will not destroy you, not because you are invincible, but because you are not alone. He is with you in the fire, as He was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, walking among the flames, untouched by the heat, triumphant over what should have devoured them. Some of you right now are at the very edge physically, emotionally, spiritually. You're saying, if one more thing goes wrong, I won't make it. But listen closely, the edge of your strength is the beginning of God's glory. When you come to the end of yourself, you finally make room for Him. He is the God of overflow. He is the God who meets you in your nothingness and multiplies what little is left. Just like the widow with a handful of flour and a bit of oil when she trusted the word of the Lord. Her supply never ran out. Every day, there was enough, and if you trust Him, yours won't run dry either. Let me speak now to the one who has served faithfully in silence. The one who gave when it cost them. The one who obeyed when it was painful. You wonder if anyone saw. I promise you God saw. Heaven recorded every act of obedience. Every hidden tear, every sacrificial prayer. Not one moment was in vain. And while the world may never applaud you, heaven has already written it down. There is reward on the way. There is honor being prepared. There is vindication coming from the one who sees it all. And to the one who has mistaken waiting for punishment, hear this: your waiting is not God's cruelty. It is His protection. You don't see what He sees. You don't know what lies behind the door you're begging Him to open, and in His love, He sometimes says no or not yet, not because you're forgotten, but because you're deeply cherished. He knows that giving you too much too soon would crush you. So instead, He builds you slowly, carefully, purposefully. You've asked for the blessing, and He's blessing you through the delay. You've asked for strength, and He's forming it in the fire of surrender. You've asked for purpose, and He's birthing it in the quiet process. Because the God we serve doesn't just want your schedule, He wants your soul. He doesn't only want to use your life, He wants to transform it. He is not simply shaping your circumstances, He is shaping you, and that kind of deep, lasting, holy transformation. It takes time, it takes trust, it takes faithfulness in the absence of understanding. But oh, my friend, when the breakthrough comes, it will be undeniable, it will be glorious, and it will be worth every moment you waited. And when the refining fire has done its sacred work, when the gold of your soul has been purified, when the vessel of your life has been shaped in strength, then and only then will God pour something into you so holy, so weighty, so glorious, that it will never be wasted. What He's preparing to place in your hands won't crumble under pressure, because He didn't just prepare the blessing for you, He prepared you for the blessing. Every delay, every disappointment, every closed door was part of the divine construction of your character. So don't overlook what He's doing right now in this sacred in-between. Don't despise the days that feel small or slow. There are miracles hidden in the mundane. The fact that breath still fills your lungs, that your heart still beats with hope, that you still rise when life knocks you down, that is not ordinary. That is supernatural. The gentle peace that defies all logic. The quiet strength to hold on when it would be easier to let go, that's evidence that God is still with you, still working, still writing your story. The enemy tried. He tried to wear you down until you collapsed, but look at you, you're still here. He tried to silence your voice, but you're still singing, even if it's just a whisper of worship. He tried to bury your purpose under layers of disappointment and delay, but your spirit keeps reaching upward, stretching toward heaven with fierce, stubborn hope. And that tenacity, it's not from you, it's from the Spirit of the living God burning within you. Now is not the time to shrink back. Now is not the time to tiptoe in fear or retreat into doubt. Now is the moment to lean in deeper, to plant your feet, to lift your voice, to pray with holy desperation, and to stand firm in unwavering faith. Because the darker the night, the closer the dawn, the heavier the pressure, the nearer the breakthrough. What you're walking through right now is not chaos, it is divine choreography. Heaven is moving behind the scenes. God is rearranging hearts, shifting circumstances, aligning every detail with precision. And when the fullness of time comes, when heaven utters the word now, nothing in this world or beyond it will be able to stop what God has set in motion for you. No demon in hell, no delay on earth, no discouragement in your mind can cancel His command. That's how powerful your God is. So don't lose heart. Your faith is not foolish. Your trust is not misplaced. Your prayers are not floating aimlessly in the darkness, they are filling the bowls of heaven. Every whispered plea, every tear-soaked cry, every groan to deep for words, it all counts. And one day, perhaps very soon, the bowls will tip, and heaven's answer will pour out like a flood. Rain will come, deliverance will come, renewal will come. God is not deaf to your cries. He is not blind to your pain. He is not slow, as some would count slowness. No, He is precise, He is intentional, and He is faithful. He's been weaving together every piece of your journey for your good and for His glory. So rise. Rise, not with pride, but with holy confidence. Lift your eyes, not in arrogance, but in expectation. Let your soul declare it boldly. I may be weary, but I am not finished. I may be tired, but I am not defeated. I may be pressed, but I am not crushed. I may be delayed, but I am not denied. My God is not done. My God is faithful. My God will do what He promised. Even now, I believe something is shifting in your heart. That heaviness is beginning to lift. That cloud of despair is starting to break. It's subtle. Maybe just a flicker, but that flicker of hope, that's the Spirit. Breathing on the embers of your faith. That's the beginning of resurrection. That's what happens when you stop staring at the storm and start fixing your eyes on Jesus. Suddenly, the wind loses its fury, the waves begin to still. The fear begins to loosen its grip, because when you truly see Him not as distant or disinterested but as the Good Shepherd who walks beside you, as the Father who fights for you, as the Savior who bled for you, everything changes. This is your turning point. Not because your circumstances suddenly shifted, but because your spirit has. You're not pleading anymore, you're proclaiming. You're not surviving, you're standing in strength. You're not panicking, you're praising. Because the same God who fed thousands with a handful of bread is still the God who multiplies your strength today. The same God who stopped a 12-year hemorrhage with one touch is still healing weary souls like yours. The same God who rolled away the stone is now rolling away the burdens from your back. So let it be declared in heaven and on earth, your weariness is not your label. Your exhaustion is not your ending. Your pain is not your prophecy. You are being made new. You are rising not in your own might but in the power of the one who conquered the grave. And as surely as the tomb is empty, so too is your past cleansed, conquered, and behind you. So rise and pray, rise and wait, rise and trust, not as a passive ritual, but as a warrior's cry. You are in a battle, but you are not alone. You are not fighting alone. You never were, even when no one clapped for you, even when no one checked in, even when you cried in silence. Heaven saw, angels surrounded you, grace covered you, the Spirit of God empowered you, and the victory you're longing for, it's already secured. Not because of your strength, not because of your performance, not because you did everything right, but because of who He is. The Lord of hosts is your defender. The King of glory is your banner. So let the weary rise up and say, I am strong. Let the broken declare, I am whole. Let those still waiting whisper with trembling lips, I am held. And let every child of God in the middle of their storm raise their voice and say, even now, I will trust. That kind of faith, the raw, unscripted, unfiltered kind, that's what shakes hell and moves the heart of heaven. That kind of surrender opens the gates of breakthrough. Your weariness, though heavy, is holy. Your tears, though bitter, are sacred. This very moment, where you feel like you're holding on by a thread, is a divine intersection, a sacred encounter between your weakness and God's unshakable strength. So don't let go. You are closer than you know. The shift is coming. The dawn is breaking. The answer you've prayed for is nearer than it's ever been, and when it comes, it won't be a story of how strong you were, it'll be a testimony of His faithfulness. You won't say, look what I survived. You'll say, look what the Lord has done. And it will be glorious. And now, in this weighty, holy moment with every truth echoing in your soul, I urge you, don't just listen to this message. Live it. Let these words fall like seeds into the soil of your spirit. Let them take root, sprout, and bear fruit. Let them reframe how you see your struggle. You are not here by mistake. You didn't click on this by accident. This was a divine appointment, a whisper from heaven saying, come closer. Come not to performance. Come not to religion. Come into relationship, deep, raw, and real, of faith not built on feelings, but on the unshakable goodness of God. Look at your life again this time through heaven's eyes. Ask yourself, have I been trying to carry burdens that only God can hold? Have I become so obsessed with the answers that I've neglected the one who is the answer? If you're tired, if your soul is stretched thin, it's time to come home, back to the heart of worship, back to the place where you don't have to be strong, back to the arms of your Father, who is not asking for your perfection, He's asking for your presence. He's not calling you with criticism, He's drawing you with compassion. This is not a scolding. It's a sacred invitation. This is not the end. It's the beginning of your return. Let this be the hour when you choose trust over torment. Let this be the day when you fall into grace, not guilt. Say it with your heart. God, I don't understand everything, but I give you everything. Lay down the fear, release the pride. Surrender the deadlines and the disappointment. Place it all into the hands of the one who knew your name before the world ever did. The one who formed you in the quiet of the womb. The one who etched your identity into His own hands. He has never once failed to be faithful, and He won't start now, not with you. When you rise from this sacred moment, rise different. Rise lighter. Rise knowing that the God of heaven walks beside you. Not just when things are going well, but when everything feels like it's falling apart. He walks with you in the shadowed valleys. He speaks in the stillness of night. He is your ever-present help. your song in the dark, your shelter in the storm. Though the world may tremble, your God remains unmoved. Though your plans may collapse, your purpose stands secure. He has you. So go forward not with anxiety but with assurance, not with fear but with faith. Not focused on your exhaustion but fixed on His excellence, not obsessed with your pain but overwhelmed by His promise. Lift your head, child of God. Yes, the wind may howl, the storm may rage, but the anchor holds. And you, yes you, are going to make it. Not limping, not barely, but in victory, in strength, in grace, because you didn't just survive. You prayed, you waited, you trusted. And the God who saw you at your lowest is the same God who will carry you through to your highest. So now walk. Walk like one who is loved. Walk like one who is chosen. Walk like one who is destined for glory. And may your life be a song and anthem and echo of someone who trusted God in the storm and came out singing. And may your song never cease.